I'll start with the new single, Glitch. Why did you choose to put it out first?
To trick everyone. We chose to put it out first to trick everyone.
You did trick me.
Yeah, so basically, every time we release any kind of single, it's a combination of something that's kind of easy enough for people to understand, and instantaneous enough to have an impact that, like, it's got an earworm, but it gives you kind of like, it's a tip of the iceberg idea. We want people to get some kind of an idea of what's coming, but also not push them straight off the cliff.
Okay, that worked very well.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I've been watching the responses, and like, I'm seeing what people expect of what's following, with any of the music that's coming, and I'm like, you have no idea.
The song Glitch has been around for a while. I read on Instagram a post where Jeff says it's been lying around, you rewrote it, and the song drained your souls. Why is that? Like, why was it hard making the song?
So it was the first song which we started working on. And the problem with us as a band is basically we will work on music until you tell us to stop. So the writing process was like, it was 2 years. It was basically 2 years of writing, and that song just got written and rewritten and rewritten with all of these different ideas backwards and forwards for such like a simple song. It's a challenge for us to make sure everything works in the exact right way to heighten the potential of what the music is. And for us, creating like something that's really heavy, really rhythmically driven, but also having like wanting to put a big hook in there and still personify Parkway and have a little bit of weirdness thrown in. It's kind of a challenge just to put together. It was strange. Like we started working on it, and then you leave it, and then you come back to it, and then you leave it, and then you reimagine it over and over and over and over again until it was the last song which we finished. First we started, last we finished.
Was this the hardest song to make, or did you have experiences with other? This was the worst.
Kind of the hard, to be honest. It was the worst. It was the worst. But I was really happy with the outcome, but it was the hardest because the longer you spend on it, the more frustrated you become, and you start losing perspective of what you're actually doing. You're just like, is this good? Is it bad? I don't know. Was that other version of it better? Like, what are we doing with this thing? And it just like, it's like your white whale. Like, it's just like hunting this thing constantly. And yeah, it drove Jeff absolutely mental trying to make sure it was completely right. You just lose a perspective after that amount of time. You just need someone to go, put it down, it's done.
Do you ask people that are not in the band and in the process, in the music writing process, about their opinions because you can't even see anything anymore or hear?
To a degree, yeah, but at the same point in time, it's even then we're it's quite an insular process between like even just the three of us, like not even the other two guys in the band. Like the guys that write the music, it's Jeff, the lead guitarist, Ben, the drummer, and myself. And we're quite like, we show ideas to people, but a very, very small amount. And previously, like our producer is our front of house sound guy on tour. So he's produced the last 3 records as well. So we can bounce some stuff off him in the past because we're on tour. And this time, no, he's on the other side of the world during COVID and doing his own thing. So we didn't have that. So it was just 2 years of the 3 of us just going
mental.
And some of the things were like, it was just done and dusted so quick. Some songs just happened, and some songs were challenges to make because we knew the composition was challenging, but it was but the way they were built kind of just happened a lot easier. And then this just happened to be like that one frustrating one that we couldn't fight into the position that we needed to be in until right at the end.
That sounds fun. So it's the music the music
not destroying at all.
Is the songwriting process like this? You 3 are together, or do you like write separately and then the music comes along, or how does this work?
A little bit of everything. Like it's a combination of us, 3 of us sitting in a room together and just jamming around, like two of them sitting together and jamming around, me by myself writing different things and bringing it to them, or me bringing something to just Jeff and me and the guitarist working together, and a combination of all of that swirling around. Like, we work in this flow where we know when each of those different circumstances is needed. Like, some of the times I'll be like, you know what, we've reached this point in writing with these songs. I'm going to step back for a bit and just focus on mine, and you guys just work on your stuff for a bit, and then I'll check in like a week and see where we're at with that, and I'll work on this part, and then we'll reconvene. Or there'll be times when it's like, I've got all of this stuff, we all need to come together and talk about these new ideas, or we're going to come in and just track vocals, me and Jeff, and we're going to work on that stuff. So yeah, it's an interesting process that goes through. It's really, really organic. Like, we've done this for so long, we're really quite good at knowing what space we're in, when to take time away, when not to. It was just a lot more mixed up this time because COVID just kind of screwed with everything. It's screwed with, like, even just the concept of recording, like, where we record and demo all of our stuff in Jeff's studio, which is underneath his house. And this is going on while Jeff has two really young children, and you can't go outside, and you can't get a babysitter, and like, it's a lot of all these other crazy things happening, and we're still trying to write a record. So yeah.
What's different about the new album? I heard it, and it's funny because I heard the new single before I got the chance to listen to the whole thing, and the trick thing is very funny because you tricked me for sure. And I'd love for you to say what's different about the new album in your words.
Yeah,
it's or maybe not.
No, it's the most expansive thing we've done. Definitely. Like, the approach for this album was to write basically an album that you would want to write if you never got to create anything ever again, because that was, like, originally when we started, that was kind of it was where we're at. Like, you start writing while COVID's going on and you can't go outside, and like, there's no music industry. Like, the idea of playing a show seems so foreign all of a sudden. It's like, and when it really became apparent that like the last thing that's ever going to come back in terms of where we were would be the music industry. Like, you're like, I don't know, maybe I'll be 60 by the time live gigs happen again. Like, so if you're going to create an album, this might be the last thing that you ever create. Like, what are you going to do? And that was, for us, that was challenge in every way, shape or form. Like, take everything that you love about this band and do it, and everything you've ever wanted to do within this band and do that, or learn how to do that. So it's quite an expansive journey. Like, there's a lot of, it's like, at the same time, the most instantaneous, simplistic songs that we've ever written in terms of like catchiness, riff, vocal melodies, all of that stuff is more instantaneous than anything it's ever been. But then also some of the most challenging, different arrangements that we've ever had as a band. Like, there's more times that on this record that Parkway doesn't sound like anything you've heard before from us than anything in the past. But at the same point in time, there's so many times where it sounds like peak Parkway that you would expect. So yeah, it was working on, like, basically just making sure all of those things worked in the exact way that we wanted to, because there was probably not going to be a second chance at it.
So I was going to ask this because Glitch wasn't very Parkway Drive to me, at least. And then I loved Soul Bleach, and I was like, yeah, this is very Parkway Drive. And I was going to ask you if you hate when people say that, because nobody wants to be just one thing, but you seem to be okay with that.
Oh, I'm fine with that. That's the thing. It's all good, and it's all music taste as well. That's the thing for us. It's the palette has always been so wide. We've only ever been limited by time and experience in creating the music that we have. It's been a very interesting process of being in this band and becoming the musicians that we are, because essentially we're doing the same thing now that we did originally, which was like create something that's a challenge. But the challenge for us originally was how to even just write songs. Like, for us, technicality and stuff, we just started doing it, and it became second nature to us. Like, it was like 30 riffs in a row, as fast as you can. But when you've done that 1,000 times, it's not so much a challenge anymore. Like, the idea writing like a record like we did originally. For us, when we think about it, like you can probably punch that out in a couple of weeks, to be honest. Like that was kind of second nature. So we've almost it's a reverse for us. It's slowly becoming learning the challenge of either simplicity or melody, or bringing out more emotion and more connection, and exploring more areas of sound for us that go beyond just aggression and adrenaline, bringing them into what we love and what we originally were, and channeling it through that. Because at the end of the day, we still, at the core of it, like a heavy band. Like for all of the non-heavy traits there is, it's all built around a dark concept and distorted guitars. And as clean as my vocals get, they're still never, they're by no means the cleanest sound, even within rock, even within metal. Like it's always about character. Like there's always an extended accessibility to it, but it's always in regards to conveying the darker elements of the human soul. Yeah.
Was it difficult for you to like try these new things, the clean singing, for example? Like, are you afraid to let some fans down that might not like it? Or there's some songs I was like, there were some songs I was like, they are like metal opera almost, like very different, or very
different. Yeah. No, for me, like it's not about like letting fans down, because at the end of the day, like you're always going to have what we've already created. Like we're never going to take away what we've already done. It's not like you can say the sounds that you liked no longer exist. Those records don't exist. The memories that you have of a show that you went to, which you love, no longer exist. You have those experiences. We just aim to do what we love doing, and challenge ourselves. And yeah, it is always like, it's a challenge. Like the thing for us is challenging ourselves with our imagination to create what we want to create, and then challenging ourselves physically to learn the skills to be able to take that image and that sound that you have in your head and actually create it. So in terms of like my vocal range, massive. Like it's been a long journey to be able to do that. And like, this is a record which we wouldn't have been able to create previously, but it's a record which was created with a lot of confidence in terms of being able to execute it. Like this is the first time we've been able to execute a sound like this. And for me, be able to execute a sound like this, to be able to sing a song like Darker Still, or any of the, like most of the screaming is on pitch and stuff. And it's not like, it wasn't hard to do, but that's only because the challenge has been confronted and I've learned how to do it.
Why were you able to do this now? Like you said, you haven't been able to do this before. What changed? Or was it the COVID off time? It was having a bit of a break, and just learning, to be honest. Like for me, it's been weird because like up until Aya, I never trained vocally at all. Like no vocal training. It was just, I'd screamed and I knew how to do that because I taught myself how to do that through just experience. And from then on, like it was basically a journey, because up until then I had screamed and I had assumed that I would have done damage to my vocal cords, so I would never be able to sing or anything like that. And I went to the doctor and got it checked out, just because I've been doing this for 10 years. Why not get it checked out? And they're like, it's great. Your voice is fine. I was like, well, if that's the case, I'm kind of interested to try some other things, because the only thing holding me back was my theory that I couldn't do it. And basically I knew how to do all the screaming stuff, but then I had to learn about music and pitch and notes and and all of the extra stuff, which is a lot. Like between the range of screaming at 100 and whispering, there is a lot of things that you can do with your voice, and that allows for a lot of expression. So it's been learning not only how to do that, but how to do it in a way that is authentic, because it's never been a goal to just be like, I wish to sing to be accessible. Like I want to be a big band, so I want to put in some clean singing parts that sound like pop punk for the
people understanding. And like, that's not the goal. The goal is always just like artistic integrity within emotional expression. And this record happens to like fill the palette in a much broader way than anything previously.
I would like to talk about the tour because you postponed, especially the ones in Europe and in Germany.
5 times or something.
Yeah, because of COVID, but also because of mental health reasons. How do you manage to stay sane as a band and also as an individual? Do you talk to each other much about this, or what do you do?
Well, no, that's why we canceled the tour.
Yeah, okay.
yeah, that was the thing. Like, that really was the thing that did it, was like, it was a lack of communication. Basically, we did like almost 20 years of being in a band with a minimal amount of communication in terms of mental health. We just survived, and I think it's a reflection as well on just society in general. Like, mental health is like, it's something which we're still only just acknowledging as having its core to existence. Like, everyone needs to be in a state that is healthy, and it's something which is so often like just downplayed or not talked about or anything like that. And if you don't talk about the impact of being in a band touring for over half your life, and you don't talk to each other about the real impact that it's having on you or your family, or how it's shaping you, simply because you were never taught how to do that, or it's not really confronted within the music industry. It's when it finally all like comes to a head, you're left with a very stark choice of like, okay, you either have to deal with this, or this is going to have a consequence, which is probably going to be like the destruction of the band, because no one wants to do it anymore, which is why we ended up canceling the tour, because we're like, well, you can go on tour and you can start this process of tour, record, relentlessness again. But I think everyone, finally the penny dropped of like, this is not a healthy way of doing things. So we have to talk about this, which is what we were doing. Like, we're like, okay, we got to cancel the tour, and we've got to spend time working on the mental health aspects and reconnecting and dealing with the fallout of almost 20 years of being in this band in the way that we've run it. So yeah.
And what was the conclusion? Like, do you have more off days or shorter tours, or what will you do in the future?
It's less. It was less about the like, we need certain things. It came down to like communication, like very, very specifically, like finding a way to be healthier as people. And as a group of people, because the way that we operated was basically it was the same way we started the band. It was like, you start the band playing to 50 people, and each individual in the band held a little bit of responsibility for a certain aspect of it. And if everyone held that little bit, we knew it would stay up. And we did it the exact same way until we were playing to tens of thousands of people and fucking headlining festivals and building stage shows and doing all of this stuff. But we were all holding this individual piece of the band ourselves. And we'd done it for so long that we didn't that was just what we did. We didn't share it with any other member of the band. We didn't talk about it because like, it was all like a challenge for all of us. It was a constant challenge, and the pressure of holding this thing up was constant, that you didn't feel you could share it with someone because they were already holding their shit up. So we needed to hear each other and hear about the challenges that we were going through, because we just didn't talk about that, and realize that through doing that, it made us stronger, rather than like being afraid of weakening every other person. Talking about it and sharing it has brought us back together. And then we can plan honestly for the way we're going to be touring like in the future, and the way we're going to do anything within the band in the future, that there is there can be a better, more healthy way of doing it. So yeah, that's kind of at the core of all of it. That's what we've realized through counseling and mediation, and spending a lot of time really going to on a very, 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 very personal with all of this, because at the end of it, like this is our lives that we've talked about. So like it's literally our entire adult life doing this.
But apart from the mental health, you love it, I'm hoping, and
Yeah.
we couldn't do it for a long time. What's harder for you as musicians, to be on the road constantly, or to not be able to go like anywhere? What's worse?
Shit, yeah, interesting. Like it's the thing that that we've also been, that COVID gave us the perspective of like, fuck, shit. What do you miss now? Like you used to take a lot of things for granted about being on the road, didn't you? So yeah, like it's a strange one, because like now that I look back at like everything that we did, I know it was all for a reason. Like like every choice that we made was for a reason, which was like, it was the survival drive. But we all definitely appreciate now, all the way down to the base level of just having the ability to perform the art that you love on a stage and connect with anyone, is very, very obvious when you no longer have that you just can't do it. Like you can't step onto a stage and you can't connect with an audience. And at the core of all of this, like we've always been a live band, and we love that. I love being able to go to a show and like hear music reverberate around the room and have someone there to share that moment with. And at the core of it, like that's what we love doing. So it's very hard to have that taken away, and I really hope it never happens again.
Yeah, me too. And you're finally coming to Germany, which is very hopefully, knock on wood, coming to Germany. We're waiting for you. Are you excited to play here? Is there something special about Germany? I know everybody probably in every country asks you this, but there's some like funny cliches about Germans maybe that were coming true that somebody told you. Are there?
No. It's true. So like, it's interesting. Like I love playing in Germany. Absolutely love it. Love the country. Like this is like, I'm in Berlin for the last 3 days, and this is my first time back here in 2.5 years. And I love everything about it. Like the people, the culture, the countryside, the weather, the food. It's beautiful. It's really amazing. And in terms of the shows in general, I've had a long time to like think about it, and I really believe that there is a respect and time and connection given to music in a very it has a lot of meaning in Germany. Like every type of music I see is it's never disposable. It's not just like something in the background. There's always attention given, and we noticed that from day one. Like it's the place where I've seen faces in the crowd return year after year after year and want to take something, want to experience something from the art that you're creating that's beyond just that moment of like, this makes me happy. Like it's a deeper connection and a deeper reverence for art, full stop, just art. And luckily music is part of that. And that's what I take from, the German crowds and the German people.
Can't wait to see you. We're going to go to Frankfurt. All of the Radio Box crew is coming.
First tour. This is our first tour back. I'm so fucking psyched.
Yeah, we're very happy to see you. So have a nice day and many more interviews. Take care and bye-bye. It was nice meeting you.